Over the last few days, there's been a number of people hyping up about Battlefront 3 being teased by a DICE developer, or due to 3 actors working together once again on a project. Whether it's a Reddit post, Twitter conversations, or YouTube videos, people have been spreading misinformation or jumping to conclusions and giving thousands of people false hope, and I'm genuinely fed up of it. People on YouTube will make a video on the smallest of details and they'll make some big deal out of it, and it works. It gets tons of views and pretty much everyone in the comments just believes it all, and they too get hyped up over nothing. I just wanted to make this video and release it as soon as possible, to be honest, so let's get right into why it's not been teased and why it's not in development right now. I also just want to make a quick note as well. I am all for Battlefront 3 content being made on YouTube. I myself have done and will be doing countless videos of content and features that I'd love to see should we ever receive it. I'm not, however, okay when people make videos telling everyone that the game's been teased because a DICE developer uses a GIF on Twitter. Obviously, I can't control what people make and I'm not here to do so. It's just, as a small YouTuber trying to make good, honest content, it frustrates me when people like this make ridiculous assumptions and blow up because of it. Anyway, the GIF. So to provide some context to it, lead game designer at DICE, Christian Johannesson, tweeted about Battlefront 2 being free on the Epic Games Store as of January 14th until January 21st. Peter Vesti, studio level design director at DICE, replied with a thumbs up GIF saying, "Heard good things about this one." Christian responded with, "It's alright, I guess." And this is where it starts to get really annoying for me, so I won't obviously be naming any names because I just don't think that's a nice thing to do, but someone replied to this saying, "Battlefront 3 is better, right?" And I can't knock them for trying, so fair play to them, but Peter replied with a gif of a man counting to 3. And when he gets to 3, the man in the gif is very visibly confused, obviously indicating that there is no Battlefront 3 and kind of like a "what are you talking about" sort of thing. So because of this gif, YouTube videos have been made about Battlefront 3 being teased. And I can tell you right here, right now, that this is in no way a tease whatsoever. So how people have managed to drag out 8-minute videos about this is really beyond me. Oh, and some people might say, "Oh, but Mark, the fact that he replied is a good thing. Oh, but he's counting to 3, that's surely a good sign." Or, "He didn't have to reply, so why did he?" And to anyone who thinks like this, or who kind of has this mindset, just please stop. Honestly, it's not healthy, and if you think like this, you'll really set yourself up for disappointment. And you'll get angry at people and you've only yourself to blame, and it's happened before. Like, I've seen this kind of stuff before when Battlefront 2 was getting content, so please don't get into this kind of mindset now because it's really not good for you or anyone else around you. Following from that gif, a conversation about "why are you counting to 3" and "oh my god, I think you're right" was had, which honestly is just ridiculous. I want Battlefront 3 as much as the next person, but please, for the love of all things good in the world, stop jumping to conclusions on absolutely everything you see on the internet. So enough ranting about that gif. I'm going to tell you exactly why that gif wasn't a tease and why Battlefront 3 is not currently being made. Firstly, as I said before, the man in the gif is very confused at the number 3, and I think that honestly should be evidence enough, but clearly people jump to conclusions on this. But here's the thing, Battlefront 2 still had content planned for perhaps at least the end of 2020. Ben Walk has stated before, a couple times now, that there were still community transmissions that were due to go live had the game not been cancelled when it was. So clearly there was still more content planned beyond what we actually finally got. So why within 8 months would they suddenly go, "Yeah, screw it, let's make a third game"? That literally makes no sense at all. It's also worth noting that Battlefront 2 was cancelled so that all of DICE could fully focus on the next Battlefield game set for release later this year, and this therefore means that there's pretty much no one working on Battlefront 2. Again, I've seen this before, people will be like, "Oh, but what if they put a small team aside from Battlefield to make new content for Battlefront 2? And things just don't work like that. And even if it did, it would take so many months between each content update that it just really wouldn't be worth it from a game point of view, and it also wouldn't be worth the time, money and resources from EA and DICE either, so it wouldn't happen. A point has been made that a Battlefront 3 just isn't worth the time or money, as they'd have to remake everything for a third time, but I don't really think that that's much of an issue. With Call of Duty, they pretty much make the MP5 each year. I mean, there are a few exceptions, but they'd have to remake the MP5 most years, and other guns are in multiple games as well, so if they'd have to remake all of those guns again, why would remaking content be an issue for a Star Wars game? I mean, sure, it might be annoying that they have to remake content, but surely that's not actually an issue, especially if it's other people working on it If it's the same people, they might get a bit tedious, but if it's a new developer working on Luke, for example, then surely that's going to be an amazing experience for them. And the thing about Battlefront 3 as well is that it has enormous potential. The Battlefront 2 player base has grown enormously over the last year or so, and if they released Battlefront 3, then they'd no doubt sell a ton of copies, so surely the time and money would therefore be worth it. Like I said, it may seem annoying to make an asset for the third time, but that doesn't mean it won't or can't happen. Now, going back to a point at the start of the video that I made, on Reddit, someone made a post about the fact that some actors are working together, and that this therefore could be about Battlefront 3. But actors work together all the time. There are countless games, films, TV shows, and much more that get produced each year, so it's not impossible for people to work together again. Another point to make as well is that if Battlefront 3 was coming from DICE right now, why would so many developers leave the studio, and why would developers still to this day be sad that Battlefront 2 ended? Surely if a third installment was being made right now, that this wouldn't necessarily be the case. Now, I think that's pretty much everything. I just really wanted to make a point that Battlefront 3 has not been teased in any way. People really need to temper their expectations for a third installment, and I can tell you right now that Battlefront 3 is not in production. It has not been teased, and please do not believe everything you see or hear on the internet. I appreciate this video was a bit of a rant and a bit different to normal, but it really does frustrate me when people start suddenly hyping up about Battlefront 3 being made when it very clearly isn't. I know Star Wars gaming news has been slow recently, but EA Play is just a few months away, and hopefully we'll find out more about the future of Star Wars games then. But for now, please be patient, don't believe all these completely hyped up videos over absolutely nothing, and have a good rest of your day. That is it from me today though. Thank you all very much for watching, and may the force be with you always.